Making money on games can be hard, but putting ads into your game doesn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to show you how to implement Google AdMob into a Unity project with one easy script to use. So I'll be starting out with a simple project. All that we have here so far are 3 buttons, one to load each of the ads. Begin by adding an empty game object. We'll call this game object AdMob Manager. Add a component to it, which is a new script. Let's call it AdMob Manager as well. Open the script in Visual Studio. Before we can use Google AdMob, we need to import the Unity asset. Do this by going to Assets, Import Package, Custom Package. Import the latest Google Mobile Ads Unity package. There's a link to the download in the description. Import all the files, and be sure to enable auto resolution. Once everything has completed importing, we can continue writing our script. The very first thing we need to do is make sure we're using the Google Mobile Ads API. We won't need start or update, so let's go ahead and get rid of these. In Unity, this object will be treated as a singleton, so let's set up all of the static references for the object. We also need a few variables for representing the type of ads that we're loading and the IDs that go along with them. If you want to set up ads for iOS as well, you'll need to set those IDs here at the same time. Let's also create a few variables to hold the actual ad window. The first thing our script needs to do is initialize the singleton object. We can do this in the awake method. We also need to initialize mobile ads so that it's ready to be used. Let's also request our interstitial as well as rewarded ads at this point. We'll write these methods later on. Always remember to destroy your ads when you quit the program. Banner ads are the easiest ones to deal with, so let's go ahead and set up that one first. First, we need to initialize the object, passing in the ad ID, the size of the banner, as well as the position we would like it in the window. We'll write the method later on for getting the ID. Finally, we need to request an ad to be displayed and load it into the view. To make getting our ad ID a little bit easier, let's also add an enum at the top. Next, let's get everything set up for interstitial ads. First, we need to check if the ad is loaded, and if it is, we'll show the ad. If an ad is not loaded, let's try and load a new ad here. Alright, now let's handle requesting an ad. To request an interstitial ad, we need to pass in the ad ID once again. We can set up a callback here if you would like to be notified when the ad is closed. Request a new ad and display it in the ad view. Setting up a rewarded ad is almost exactly the same as setting up an interstitial ad. So for that, we'll copy these methods and change them a little bit. There's a few other callbacks that are a little bit more necessary for rewarded ads, so let's set those up now. Let's go ahead and implement these methods now. And finally, we need to implement our method for getting a ad ID. When testing your game, you always want to return test ads. You can get the test ad IDs from the link to each of the types that you're looking at implementing. For example, to implement a banner ad, click on Banner Ads, scroll down, and you can see the test IDs for each of the platforms that you'll be developing on. We're also going to use a test to find out what platform is being run right now. If you wanted this to run on iOS as well, you would do the exact same thing here, using different test ad IDs. And if you're not in test mode, you'll want to do the exact same thing right here, only providing in the ad IDs for the ones you defined in the very beginning. I didn't set IDs up for iOS, so we won't be adding that in this time. Go through and fix all of the errors that you might have caused in typing. And that's it. We now have a working version. You want to create your ads in AdMob and put your IDs in here. Back in Unity, there's still a few other steps that we need to do. First, go to Assets, Google Mobile Ads, Settings, and enable Google AdMob. You'll want to type in the ID for your project into each of these spots, depending on the platform you're going to be using. And finally, go to External Dependency Manager, Android Resolver, and Resolve. You should get Resolution Succeeded. The last thing we need to do is set up our buttons to actually trigger the events. And that's all it takes. I use this in each of my games to show ads super easily, and you can too. There's a link to this script in the description below, so if you want to download it on your own, please feel free to use it in your own projects.